Let's begin with the truth. You are wasting your life, and you know it. That is the quiet dread that hums beneath the surface of your days. It is the feeling that greets you in the silence of the morning when the alarm clock screams and you bargain for 5 more minutes. It is the subtle shame that follows you as you scroll through the lives of others, consuming content instead of creating your own. It is the hollow promise of tomorrow, a word that has become a graveyard for your best intentions. You are living in a state of profound self-betrayal. You possess a clear, sharp vision of the person you could be. This person is strong. They are focused. They wake up with purpose. They execute their plans. They build their body, their mind, their career. They are not a slave to cheap distraction or temporary comfort. This person exists, a potential version of you, and they are watching you. They are watching you give in, give up, and settle for less. And they are disgusted. You are here because the gap between the life you are living and the life you know you are capable of has become an unbearable psychic weight. You are tired of your own excuses. You are tired of being the person who talks, who plans, who dreams, but who never does. You are tired of breaking the most important promises you make, the ones you make to yourself. This is not a state of ignorance. You know what to do. You have read the articles. You have watched the videos. You have the knowledge. The problem is not a lack of information. The problem is a lack of action. The problem is that, in the critical moment of decision, the moment to get out of bed, to go to the gym, to open the book, to start the difficult work, you consistently choose the path of least resistance. You choose comfort. You choose now over later. And in doing so, you sacrifice the future you claim to want for the cheap, empty calories of present-tense pleasure. You have been led to believe a comfortable lie. The lie is that you must feel motivated before you can act. You have been told to find your passion, to wait for inspiration, to be kind to yourself. And so you wait. You wait for a magical surge of energy. You wait for the day when you will finally want to do the hard work. You wait for a feeling. Here is the second truth. That feeling will never come. Motivation is not a prerequisite. It is a result. Motivation is the chemical reward your brain gives you after you have proven you are worthy of it. It is the applause at the end of the performance, not the rehearsal. To sit and wait for motivation to strike is to sit in a cold, dark room and wait for the fireplace to give you heat before you have given it any wood. It is an absurdity. It is the logic of a child. This audiobook is the end of that logic. Its purpose is to systematically dismantle the fantasy that holds you captive. This is not a collection of gentle suggestions. It is not about finding your flow or manifesting your best life. This is a manual for war. It is a war against your weaker self, the part of you that is lazy, that is afraid, that is addicted to comfort, the part of you that whispers, "It's not so bad. You can start on Monday. You deserve a break." That voice is not your friend. It is your enemy. It is the architect of your mediocrity. And the only way to defeat it is with force. The word force is uncomfortable. It implies conflict. It implies coercion. It implies a lack of harmony. Good. It is time to stop seeking harmony with the part of your nature that is actively trying to destroy your future. You cannot negotiate with inertia. You cannot reason with procrastination. You cannot convince your lower instincts to cooperate. You must and you will force them into submission. This is the principle that will change your life. Action must precede feeling. You will learn to act without motivation. You will perform without inspiration. You will execute your tasks on the days you feel empty, tired, and broken, just as you would on the days you feel powerful. Why? Because your feelings are irrelevant. They are transient. They are weather. They are not you. You are the sky, permanent and vast. Your feelings are just clouds, passing storms that you will learn to observe, acknowledge, and ignore. The force we will cultivate is not a blunt, screaming anger. It is a cold, precise, and impersonal mechanism. It is the force of a lever, which moves a boulder with applied physics. It is the force of a system, which operates on inputs and outputs, not hopes and dreams. It is the force of an identity, forged in the repetition of difficult choices. This audiobook is a 10-chapter journey into the heart of that mechanism. In Part 1, we will confront the enemy. We will tear down the mythology of motivation and identify the true opponent, the voice of instant gratification. We will make a single, irreversible decision. We will draw a line in the sand and make a vow, a point of no return. This is the act of internal surrender, where you finally admit that your old way has failed. In Part 2, we will build the machine. This is the architecture of control. You will learn that forcing yourself is not about raw, finite willpower. It is about strategic design. You will become the architect of an environment that makes discipline unavoidable. You will engineer systems so rigid that they remove the burden of choice. You will learn to forge a new identity, one that aligns with your goals. And you will understand the most critical currency of growth, the currency of discomfort. You will learn to stop running from it and instead to run toward it. In Part 3, we will achieve mastery. The force you once had to apply externally will become an internal, self-sustaining rhythm. The daily battles will become a low-friction state. The habits will become you. We will then expand this control from one area of your life until it encompasses every domain, building an unconquered will. Here is what I expect from you. I expect you to be uncomfortable. I expect you to confront truths about yourself that you have spent years avoiding. I expect you to do the work, not just listen to the words. This program is not passive entertainment. It is an active protocol. And here is what you can expect from this process. The transformation will be total. It is not just about getting more done. It is about becoming someone else. It is about waking up in the morning and not feeling that quiet dread. It is about looking in the mirror and feeling not arrogance, but a deep, earned, and unshakable self-respect. The person who finishes this audiobook will not be the same person who began it. The person who finishes this audiobook will have paid the price in discomfort. They will have accumulated the evidence of small victories. They will have demonstrated to themselves that they are no longer a slave to their impulses. The ultimate goal of forcing yourself to be disciplined is to reach the point where force is no longer necessary. It is to so thoroughly reprogram your mind and your habits that your default state is one of action, focus, and integrity. It is to become the person you were always meant to be. The war begins now. The target is your own weakness. The weapon is your own will. Turn the page. Chapter 1. The Great Betrayal. How many times has this happened to you? You wake up. For a single glorious moment, you are filled with resolve. Today is the day. The plan is clear. You will wake up early. You will not check your phone. You will work out. You will read. You will do the difficult, important work you have been avoiding. This resolve is so strong, so clear, that it feels like a physical fact. You are going to win the day. And then, it happens. The alarm rings. The warmth of the bed suddenly feels like a physical prison, but a comfortable one. A voice that sounds exactly like your own, begins to bargain. Just 5 more minutes. You need the rest. You worked hard yesterday. It's cold on the floor. It won't matter if you start at 7:05 instead of 7. And just like that, the betrayal begins. You negotiate. You hit the snooze button. The first promise of the day is broken. That single, clear-eyed moment of resolve is now muddy, compromised. When you finally drag yourself out of bed, you are already in a state of defeat. You are already behind. And the rest of the day follows that pattern. The workout is skipped. The difficult work is pushed until after lunch. After lunch becomes later this afternoon. And later becomes tomorrow. You have just experienced the great betrayal. And it did not come from a partner, a boss, or a friend. It came from the most intimate and trusted source you have, your own feelings. This is the chapter where we stop trusting the traitor. The core problem, the reason you are stuck, the reason you are listening to this audiobook, is that you have built your life on the most unstable foundation imaginable. You have built it on the belief that you must feel like doing something before you can do it. You are waiting to feel motivated. You are waiting to feel inspired. You are waiting to feel confident. You are waiting to feel ready. You have been taught to respect your feelings, to listen to them, to honor them. But you have not been taught the truth. The truth is that your feelings, in the context of growth, discipline, and long-term achievement, are liars. They are saboteurs. They are the single greatest obstacle to the person you want to become. Let us deconstruct this myth, this cult of motivation, once and for all. What is motivation? You imagine it as a wave of unstoppable energy, a magical force that will arrive unbidden and carry you effortlessly toward your goals. You see it as a prerequisite. Step 1, get motivated. Step 2, do the work. This is fundamentally, dangerously wrong. Motivation is not fuel. It is a byproduct. It is the reward your brain releases after you have begun, after you have proven to yourself that you are motion. It is the applause for the performance, and you are sitting in the audience, refusing to walk on stage until you hear the clapping. It makes no sense. Relying on motivation to achieve your goals is like relying on a warm, sunny day to build a house. What do you do when it rains? What do you do when it is cold, or dark, or windy? Do you stop building? Do you sit inside, look out the window, and say, "I just don't feel inspired to build today"? No. An architect, a builder, works from a blueprint. They work from a plan. They work based on a contract. The work must be done. Your feelings are the weather. They are the chaotic, unpredictable, and hormonal storms that pass through your consciousness. And you have been allowing this weather to dictate the entire construction of your life. This is the great betrayal. Your feelings are programmed for a world that no longer exists. They are a primitive survival mechanism. Their job is not to make you extraordinary. Their job is not to help you build an empire, sculpt your body, or write a novel. Their job is to do one thing and one thing only: seek pleasure, avoid pain, and conserve energy. In a prehistoric world, this was a brilliant system. When food was scarce, feeling lazy was an evolutionary advantage. It conserved calories. When a risk presented itself, feeling fear was a life-saving instruction. When you found a source of sugar or fat, feeling pleasure was a command to consume as much as possible. But you do not live in that world. You live in a world of absurd abundance. Your primitive brain is now trapped in a modern candy store, and it is killing you. Today, that same system malfunctions. When you look at the difficult task, the blank page, the gym equipment, the complex project, your brain flags it as pain. It feels difficult, stressful, and uncertain. The primitive instruction is clear: avoid. When you look at your phone, the sofa, or a bag of processed food, your brain flags it as pleasure. It is easy, certain, and comfortable. The instruction is clear: consume. Your feelings will, every single time, vote for the path of least resistance. They will vote for the short term, instant gratification option. They will vote for later. They will vote for 5 more minutes. They will vote for comfort. Your feelings are no longer aligned with your survival. They are aligned with your stagnation. And by continuing to listen to your feelings, you are willingly, obediently following the instructions of a saboteur. You are letting the traitor draw the map. So, what is the first act of forcing discipline? It is a declaration of independence. It is the moment you stand up and say, "My feelings no longer have a vote." It is the moment you separate you, the conscious, decision-making, goal-oriented part of your mind, from the transient, chemical noise of your emotions. This is not a request for you to become a cold, unfeeling robot. This is a request for you to become a leader. A leader acknowledges the noise. A leader acknowledges the fear, the doubt, and the fatigue. But a leader does not take orders from the mob. A leader does not let the loudest, most hysterical voice in the room make the final decision. From this moment forward, you must learn to treat your feelings as data, not as directives. When you feel lazy, you will learn to observe it. You will say, "I am registering the sensation of fatigue." The biological suggestion is to seek rest. You will acknowledge it. And then you will calmly, deliberately, and impersonally override it. You will say, "That suggestion is noted. It is also rejected. The contract requires me to act." When you feel fear, you will observe it. "I am registering the sensation of anxiety." The biological suggestion is to retreat to safety. And you will override it. Suggestion noted, "I am proceeding anyway." When you feel bored, you will observe it. "I am registering the sensation of understimulation." The biological suggestion is to seek a novel distraction. And you will override it. Suggestion noted, "The work is not meant to be entertaining, it is meant to be done." This is the first, most critical mind shift. Your feelings are not you. They are events that are happening to you. You are the one who watches them. You are the one who decides. This brings us to the new foundation. If we are tearing down the unstable, rotten foundation of feelings, what do we build in its place? We build it on the bedrock of a contract. Think about the difference. A feeling is volatile. A contract is stable. A feeling is ambiguous. A contract is precise. A feeling is optional. A contract is binding. Discipline is not a mood. It is a vow. It is a non-negotiable agreement you make with your future self. It is a set of rules you establish for your own life, and you decide that these rules are more important than any temporary discomfort. A professional does not feel like going to work. A pilot does not feel like doing the pre-flight checklist. A surgeon does not feel like scrubbing in for 7 minutes. They do these things because they are bound by a contract. They are bound by a professional standard. Their feelings are, in that moment, utterly and completely irrelevant. You must become the professional of your own life. The problem is, you have been treating your own goals with less respect than a part-time job. You would never call your boss and say, "I'm just not feeling motivated to come in today." You would never tell a client, "I didn't feel inspired, so I didn't do the work." You would be fired. You would be sued. You show up. You do the work regardless of how you feel, because you are bound by an external contract. There are consequences. And yet, you break contracts with yourself every single day. And you do it for the flimsiest of reasons. "I'm tired. I'm busy. I'm not ready." Why? Because there are no immediate external consequences. The boss you are betraying is your future self. The client you are failing is the person you could be. And because they are not standing in the room with you, you believe their betrayal is free. It is not free. The cost is your life. The cost is your self-respect. The cost is that quiet, humming dread that you are wasting your potential. So, today, we sign a new contract. We redefine discipline for what it truly is. Discipline is not an emotion. It is not a personality trait you are born with. Discipline is not a mystical gift. Discipline is a choice. It is the choice to value your long-term vision over your short-term comfort. Discipline is a skill. It is the skill of separating impulse from action, of creating a space between stimulus and response. Discipline is a system. It is the framework you build to make honoring your word the path of least resistance. And most of all, discipline is an identity. It is the act of deciding who you are and then proving it to yourself over and over until it becomes your new reality. The great betrayal has been your blind faith in your own feelings. You have been a loyal soldier to a treacherous commander. Your loyalty has been rewarded with stagnation, with regret, and with a life half-lived. The great liberation is the realization that you are not your feelings. You are the one in charge. You are the executive. You are the one who signs the checks, and you are the one who honors the contract. This is the fundamental shift. This is the first and most important step to forcing yourself to be disciplined. You are not forcing a feeling. You cannot make yourself feel motivated. You are forcing an action. You are decoupling the act from the feeling entirely. You are deciding that from now on, your actions will be governed by your intent, not your mood. This is a war, and the first battle is one of sovereignty. Who is in charge? The primitive, emotional, comfort-seeking animal? Or the conscious, logical, forward-thinking human? Right now, the animal is in the driver's seat, and it is driving you in circles. It is time to take the wheel. It will not be easy. That animal part of your brain is strong. It is seductive. It has been in control for your entire life. It will scream. It will bargain. It will throw tantrums. It will tell you this is too hard, that you are being too mean to yourself, that you deserve a break. Your job is to let it scream. Your job is to ignore the tantrum. Your job is to drive on calmly and execute the plan. The first act of discipline is to stop negotiating with the terrorist. The terrorist is your own emotion, which holds your goals hostage in exchange for comfort. Today, you stop paying the ransom. This is the new agreement. This is the new law. Your feelings will no longer be consulted on matters of execution. They are free to exist. They are free to make noise, but they are no longer in command. You are. The contract is simple. I will do what I said I would do. Not if I feel like it. Not if I have time. Not if I'm in the mood. I will do what I said I would do. That is the entire law. That is the end of the great betrayal. You are no longer a servant to your impulses. You are the master of your will. The takeaway from this chapter is not a feeling of excitement. I do not want you to feel motivated right now. That feeling is cheap, and it will be gone by morning. Instead, I want you to feel a sense of cold, clear, and quiet resolve. A resolve that is not based on a high, but on a decision. A decision to stop trusting the part of you that has failed you and to start building the part of you that will not. Your feelings are not orders. They are suggestions. And from this day forward, you have permanent veto power. Chapter 2. The Enemy in the Mirror. In the last chapter, we declared independence from our feelings. We identified them as treacherous advisors, biological baggage from a world that no longer exists. We made a vow to replace the flimsy foundation of motivation with the bedrock of a contract. But a war has two sides. You have identified your own conscious, disciplined mind as the force for change. But who exactly is the enemy? You have been trained to look for the enemy out there. You look at your boss, who demands too much. You look at your family, who drain your energy. You look at the economy, the government, the system, and you find 1,000 external reasons for your internal stagnation. You invent a narrative in which you are the protagonist, bravely struggling against a world that is designed to make you fail. This is a comforting, seductive, and utterly debilitating lie. The world is not your enemy. The world is just the arena. It is the indifferent backdrop against which your true battle is fought. The task is not your enemy. The task is just a collection of inert materials, a pile of stone waiting for a sculptor. The lack of time is not your enemy. Time is the most evenly distributed resource on the planet. It is the currency you are squandering. No, the enemy is none of those things. The enemy is intimate. The enemy is the one voice you trust more than any other. The enemy is you. It is the other you, the part of you that clings to comfort, the part of you that fears friction, the part of you that is a slave to the present moment. It is the voice in the mirror, the one that looks just like you and sounds just like you. And it has been sabotaging your life since the day you were born. This chapter is a cold diagnostic. We are not here to flatter your ego or validate your struggles. We are here to put the enemy under a microscope, to dissect its methods, to expose its tactics so that you can finally stop falling for the same tired tricks. This enemy, this other self, is not a monster. It is not a demon. In fact, it believes it is your friend. It believes it is your protector. Its entire purpose is to protect you from pain, from risk, from discomfort, and from effort. It is the guardian of your comfort zone. Its entire mission is to make right now feel as good as possible. It has zero consideration for your future. Your future self is a foreign concept to it, a vague abstraction. The only thing that is real to this enemy is the immediate present tense sensation. And to protect that sensation, it has an arsenal of excuses. Let us dismantle them. First, it blames the world. This is the voice of victimhood. It tells you, the system is rigged. What's the point? Other people have it easier. They have more money, more connections, more talent. You're starting too far behind. This voice is clever because it absolves you of all responsibility. If the game is rigged, why play? If you are a victim, you have no power, and therefore you have no obligation to act. It is the perfect excuse for surrender. But it is a coward's logic. The world is the world. It is indifferent. It will not change for you. To sit and wait for the arena to become fair is to wait for a tide that will never turn. The disciplined mind accepts the terrain as it is and finds a way to win. The enemy in the mirror uses the terrain as an excuse to never leave the tent. Second, when it cannot blame the world, it blames the task. This is the voice of overwhelm. It tells you, this is too big. This is too complicated. I don't even know where to start. It's just a lot. It generates a fog of complexity, a dense, confusing cloud that makes the goal seem distant and impossible. It convinces you that because you cannot see the entire path, you cannot take the first step. This is a simple illusion. The problem is never that the mountain is high. The problem is that the sofa is soft. The enemy prefers the state of being overwhelmed because it is a passive state. It requires no effort. It is a form of paralysis that feels like a legitimate problem. I'm not being lazy, it insists. I'm just overwhelmed. But the truth is, the enemy would rather feel the passive anxiety of overwhelm than the active discomfort of starting. It is an avoidance tactic, pure and simple. Third, and most insidiously, it blames time. This is the enemy's masterwork. I just don't have time, it says. I'm too busy. I'm spread too thin. There aren't enough hours in the day. This is the most pervasive and poisonous lie in the modern world. It is a lie of priority disguised as a lie of capacity. You have the time. You have exactly the same 24 hours as every other human being. The problem is not your schedule. The problem is your priority. And the enemy in the mirror is a master thief, stealing your life in 15-minute increments. When you say, I don't have time to work out, you are saying, my health is not a priority. When you say, I don't have time to read, You are saying, my knowledge is not a priority. When you say, I don't have time to work on my business, you are saying, my freedom is not a priority. Because you do have time to scroll. You do have time to watch the next episode. You do have time to complain, to gossip, to daydream. You have endless time for distraction, for consumption, for ease. The enemy in the mirror does not run out of time. It allocates your time to the things that serve it, namely comfort and distraction. Not enough time is simply a code phrase for, I value my comfort more than this goal. These are the external excuses, but the real sabotage happens inside your own mind. The enemy has a voice, and it uses 3 primary tactics to bargain you into submission. You must learn to recognize these tactics as they happen. Tactic 1, the rationalizer. This is the most dangerous tactic because it sounds intelligent. It co-opts your own logic and uses it against you. It whispers, you know, you shouldn't push yourself into burnout. Rest is just as important as work. Or, it's actually more productive to do the easy tasks first to build momentum. Or, I just read an article that says hustle culture is toxic. You need to be kind to yourself. This voice is a master of twisting a kernel of truth into a blanket justification for failure. Yes, rest is important, but are you strategically resting or are you capitulating? Yes, burnout is real, but are you on the verge of a medical breakdown or are you simply avoiding friction? The rationalizer turns your intelligence into a weapon of self-sabotage. It makes laziness sound like a high IQ strategy. It provides a sophisticated, logical-sounding argument for why giving in is, in fact, the smart thing to do. It allows you to feel good about yourself, to feel enlightened, even as you are betraying your own contract. Tactic 2, the prophet of tomorrow. This is the voice of postponement. It loves the future. It hates the present. The present is where the work is. The present is where the friction is. The future is a magical, hypothetical land where everything is easy. The enemy whispers, you're not feeling it today. You're tired. Your head isn't in the game. You'll do a much better job tomorrow. It says, let's start fresh on Monday, a clean slate. We'll really kill it then. Tomorrow is the enemy's sanctuary. It is a perfect, pristine fantasy world where you are always motivated, always energized, and always focused. The enemy sells you this illusion of future perfection to prevent the discomfort of present-day friction. This tactic is assassination by postponement. It doesn't kill your dream in one violent blow. It just pushes it and pushes it and pushes it until one day you wake up and tomorrow has become never. You have run out of tomorrows. All you have is a lifetime of well-intentioned yesterdays. This voice is the architect of regret. Tactic 3, the bargainer. This is the most common tactic, the one you face every single day. This is the voice of just. Just 5 more minutes in bed. Just 1 episode. It's only 30 minutes. Just 1 donut. You've been good all week. Just this once. This voice sounds so reasonable. It's not asking you to quit forever. It's just asking for a small exception. But this is a logic bomb. The enemy's goal is not the 1 donut. The enemy's goal is the breaking of the standard. Discipline is not a part-time job. It is a system of absolutes. It is a rule. Just once is the enemy's foot in the door. It is the hairline crack in the dam. It sends a message to your entire being. The contract is negotiable. Our rules can be bent. Our word does not mean what we say it means. Just once is never just once. It is the beginning of a pattern. It is the erosion of your new identity. Every time you agree to just once, you are casting a vote for your old self. You are giving the enemy in the mirror a small, critical victory. And those small victories are how it wins the war. These 3 tactics, the rationalizer, the prophet of tomorrow, and the bargainer, all serve a single primary objective. They are all designed to feed a singular core addiction. The enemy in the mirror is an addict, and its drug of choice is comfort. You must understand this. You are not fighting laziness. You are not fighting procrastination. Those are just symptoms. You are fighting an addiction to instant gratification. Your phone is your drug dealer. The sofa is the needle. The sugary snack, the mindless entertainment, the social media scroll, these are your hits. They provide a small, immediate, and predictable spike of dopamine, a sensation of ease, a numbing of the friction of life. The enemy in the mirror is a junkie, and it will do anything for its next fix. It will lie to you, it will bargain with you, it will rationalize, it will mortgage your entire future for 5 minutes of present-tense comfort. This is the primary obstacle. This is the war. The part of you that wants to grow, to build, to achieve. That part of you is forced to live in the same body as a comfort addict. What you are avoiding is not the work. You are avoiding the feeling of the work. You are avoiding the sensation of effort. You are avoiding the void. The void is that moment of silence when you are not consuming, not distracted. It is the moment you sit down to do the hard thing. The page is blank. The room is quiet. There is no immediate reward. There is only you and the task. This state of non-stimulation, of focused effort, is intolerable to the enemy. It feels like withdrawal. It screams for a hit of distraction. It itches to check your phone, to open a new tab, to stand up and get a snack. This is the battlefield. The entire war of discipline is won or lost in this single moment. The moment you are in the void and the enemy begins to scream for its drug. The force we are building is the ability to sit in that void, to tolerate the scream, to acknowledge the itch and to not scratch it. It is the power to deny the addict its fix. This is the cold, hard diagnostic. The enemy is not the world. The enemy is not your boss. The enemy is the familiar, comfortable, and deeply ingrained voice of instant gratification. It is the part of you that has become addicted to ease. It is a saboteur that sounds just like your protector. It is the face in the mirror that bargains for your future, one just this once at a time. Your task is not to destroy this enemy. You cannot. It is a part of your biology. Your task is to identify it, to name it, to see its tactics with such clarity that they lose their power. When you hear the bargaining, you must learn to step back and say, that is the voice of the addict. When you hear the rationalizing, you must say, that is the enemy twisting my logic. When you hear the call of tomorrow, you must say, that is the prophet selling me a fantasy. You cannot fight an enemy you do not see. You cannot defeat an army that you mistake for your own. The takeaway from this chapter is an act of identification. Look in the mirror. See both faces. See the aspiring, disciplined, future-oriented you. And see the comfort-addicted, present-tense, sabotaging enemy that shares your skin. The battle is to decide in every single moment which one gets to be in control. The diagnostic is complete. You know your enemy. Now we must make a choice. Chapter 3. The Point of No Return. When does a human being actually change? Think about that question. When does the vague desire, the wish, the New Year's resolution actually become real? You have been wanting to change for years. You have been planning to. You have been researching it. You have been getting ready to get ready. But when does the change itself begin? It does not begin when you buy the gym membership. It does not begin when you throw the junk food out of your pantry. It does not begin when you lay out your running shoes the night before. These are all preparations. They are well-intentioned, but they are not the moment. The moment of change, the true genesis of a new life, is a decision. It is not a choice. It is not a preference. It is a decision. This is the point where we move past the enemy identification of the last chapter and begin the war. And the first shot fired is a commitment so total, so absolute, that it reconfigures your entire reality. You have been living your life in the soft, comfortable gray twilight of maybe. You have been drowning in the language of trying. I'll try to wake up early. I'll try to eat better. I'll try to be more focused. Let us be perfectly clear. I will try is the most potent self-sabotage phrase in the human language. It is a pre-planned excuse for failure. It is an escape clause you write into your own contract. It is the polite, socially acceptable way of saying, I am not fully committed. I am willing to attempt this, but I am reserving the right to fail. I am giving myself an out in case it gets too hard. Trying is a wish. It is a hope. It is a gamble. It is the logic of a child who hopes for a gift but has no control over whether they receive it. This audiobook is not about trying. It is not about hoping. It is about doing. And doing is born from deciding. This chapter is about that single, terrifying, liberating moment of absolute commitment. This is the moment you cross a psychological threshold. This is the point of no return. There is a story, perhaps apocryphal, of a great general who led his army across the sea to conquer a superior foe. His soldiers were terrified. They were outnumbered. They were in a foreign land. When they landed on the beach, they looked back at their ships bobbing in the harbor. Those ships were their lifeline. They were their safety. They were their plan B. As long as those ships existed, every soldier's mind was split. They were fighting with one foot on the battlefield and one foot on the escape ramp. Their commitment was divided. They were trying to win. The general, seeing this, gave an order: burn the ships. His men watched in horror as their only means of retreat was consumed by fire. The flames licked the sky, the wood cracked and snapped, and in a matter of minutes, their escape route was gone. It was ash and smoke sinking into the sea. In that moment, everything changed. The general turned to his men, and he did not have to say a word. They all understood. There was no maybe. There was no trying. There was no plan B. There was only one path forward: victory or death. Their psychology was instantly, permanently altered. The ambiguity was gone. The internal debate was over. The question of what if it's too hard became irrelevant. The only path was forward. This is what you must do to your life. You are standing on the beach of your new beginning, but you are refusing to burn your ships. Your ships are your excuses. Your ships are your old comforts. Your ships are the just this once bargains you make with the enemy in the mirror. Your ships are the snooze button, the junk food in the back of the freezer, the tomorrow you keep escaping to. Your ships are your rationalizations, your justifications, and your deeply held belief that, if things get too uncomfortable, you can always retreat to the person you used to be. You must burn them. You cannot begin a new life while holding a round-trip ticket to your old one. You cannot force yourself to be disciplined as long as you give your weaker self a safe harbor to flee to. A true decision is an act of destruction. The word decide has its roots in the Latin caedere, which means to cut off. A decision is not an addition. It is a subtraction. It is a conscious, deliberate cutting off of all other possibilities. When you decide to become a person of discipline, you are not just saying yes to a new set of habits. You are saying a violent, permanent no to your old ones. You are saying no to the person who negotiates. You are saying no to the person who tries. You are saying no to the part of you that votes for comfort. You are cutting the rope. You are sealing the door. You are burning the ships. This is a binary act. It is a 0 or a 1. There is no 0.5. You are either in or you are out. You have either decided or you have not. Right now, you are living in the in-between. You are trying to live two lives at once. You are trying to be the disciplined, focused, future-oriented person and the comfort-seeking, distracted, present-tense person. And this internal civil war is exhausting you. It is the source of your anxiety, your guilt, and your feeling of stagnation. You are failing at both lives because you have refused to commit to one. This is the day you choose. How do we make this decision real? A vague intention is not a decision. A thought is not a decision. A decision must be a vow. It must be an event. It must be a ritual. First, you must define the new law. It cannot be ambiguous. I want to be healthier is not a decision. It is a wish. I will eat a salad is not a decision. It is a single temporary action. A decision sounds like this. I am the person who exercises every day. I am the person who wakes up at 6 a.m. I am the person who does not eat processed sugar. Notice the language. It is not I will try. It is not I will. It is I am. It is a statement of identity. The decision is made. The identity is claimed. The subsequent actions are merely the proof of that identity. You are no longer trying to wake up at 6 a.m. You are a 6 a.m. person. Therefore, when the alarm rings, the action of getting up is no longer a choice to be debated. It is simply the consequence of who you have decided to be. Second, you must make this vow concrete. A thought can be forgotten. A thought can be rationalized away. You must take this decision out of the thought world and forge it in the real world. Write it down. Take a piece of paper, not a digital file, a physical piece of paper. Write your decision. I am your new identity. Use a heavy pen, press down, see the ink bleed into the fiber. This is an artifact. It is a physical manifestation of your will. Put it somewhere you will see it every single day. The mirror, your desk, your wall. This is your new law. Say it aloud. Go into a room alone and state your decision to the empty space. I am the person who reads for 30 minutes every day, period. Hear the words in your own voice. Let the sound waves hit your own ears. This is not a thought. This is a declaration. Third, and this is the most critical part, you must consciously accept the price. Burning the ships is not free. You lose the ships. This is the part everyone wants to skip. You want the gains of discipline without the grief of your old comforts. It does not work. A true decision means you are consciously, willingly, and preemptively grieving the loss of your old self. You are saying goodbye to the pleasure of the snooze button. You are saying goodbye to the comfort of the junk food. You are saying goodbye to the ease of the mindless scroll. You must accept that these things are gone. They are no longer available to you. They are part of the life you cut off. The price of discipline is your old definition of comfort. You must pay it. You must accept the transaction. You are trading cheap, temporary, present-tense pleasure for the most valuable currency in the world, deep, permanent, long-term self-respect. When you do this, something profound happens. The entire dynamic of your mind shifts. Before this decision, your daily life was a constant, exhausting negotiation. Every morning was a new debate. Should I get up? Should I skip it? How do I feel? Am I motivated? After this decision, the negotiation is over. The trial is finished. The verdict has been rendered. The question is no longer if. The only question left is how. The daily anxiety of will I or won't I vanishes. It is replaced by a cold, clear, and quiet calm. The work is no longer a question of motivation. It is just the work. You do it. You do not wake up in the morning and decide to brush your teeth. You do not debate it. You do not check if you feel motivated to do it. You just do it. It is a non-negotiable part of your life. The decision was made so long ago, it has become an automatic script. The point of no return is the moment you elevate your new goal to this same status. You are deciding that this new action, the workout, the writing, the focused work, is now as essential and non-negotiable as brushing your teeth. It is simply what you do. This is the power of a single, definitive choice. It clarifies all future actions. It makes hesitation a betrayal. Once you have made this vow, any slip-up is no longer just a mistake. It is an act of perjury. It is a violation of your own sacred word. It is a betrayal of your new identity. This raises the stakes. You are no longer fighting friction. You are fighting for your integrity. And that is a fight you are far more likely to win. Stop waiting. Stop trying. Stop hoping. Hope is a beggar. The decision is a king. A king does not hope the sun will rise. He does not try to rule. He is the king. His will is law. You must become the king of your own mind. The enemy in the mirror, the comfort addict, the rationalizer, it has been sitting on your throne. It has been giving the orders. The point of no return is a coup. It is the moment you stand up, depose the usurper, and take your rightful place as the ruler of your own life. This decision is the true beginning. Everything else is just commentary. So, right now, in this moment, you must choose. Are you going to continue to stand on the beach with one foot on the sand and one foot in the boat? Or are you going to light the match? The takeaway from this chapter is not an action plan. It is a verdict. You must render it. Stop trying. Start deciding. Stop hoping. Start committing. Stop negotiating. Start burning your ships. The old you does not get a vote. The old life is no longer an option. The retreat is gone. The only way is forward. Chapter 4, Architect of your cage. You have made the decision. You have drawn the line. You have stood on the beach, lit the match, and burned the ships. Your commitment is absolute. The retreat to your old life is gone. And then you wake up. It is 6 a.m. The alarm is screaming. The room is dark. The bed is warm. The enemy you identified in Chapter 2, the comfort-addicted animal, is wide awake. And it does not care about your decision. It does not respect your vow. It only feels the present tense discomfort. It begins to bargain. It begins to rationalize. It begins to push with all its biological might for the snooze button. You are now in a dogfight. It is your new, fragile resolve against a lifetime of deeply ingrained habit. It is your will against your instincts. This is the battle of willpower, and it is a battle you will lose. Here is the next hard truth. Raw willpower is a finite resource. It is a myth. It is a battery that drains with every single decision you make. From the moment you wake up, you are spending it. What to wear, what to eat, whether to answer that email, whether to make that call. By 4 p.m., your willpower is bankrupt. You have decision fatigue. And when that battery is dead, the enemy in the mirror, which runs on pure primal instinct, takes over. This is why your worst decisions are made at night. This is why you surrender to the junk food, the mindless scrolling, the broken promises at the end of the day. You have simply run out of the energy required to fight. To force yourself to be disciplined by relying on moment-to-moment willpower is like trying to hold a castle against an army by yourself with no walls. You will be overrun. It is inevitable. You have been told that disciplined people are just stronger, that they have an iron will. This is a lie. It is a fundamental misunderstanding of the entire game. Disciplined people are not stronger. They are smarter. They do not rely on willpower. They protect it. They understand that it is a precious, limited resource, and they refuse to waste it on unnecessary fights. They do not win through brute force. They win through strategy. This chapter is that strategy. If willpower is not the answer, what is? The answer is architecture. You must stop thinking like a soldier, constantly on the front lines and start thinking like an architect, a designer, an engineer. The goal is not to win the fight every day. The goal is to design a system in which the fight rarely happens. The goal is to make your desired outcome not just possible, but unavoidable. We are going to build a cage. The word cage sounds negative. It sounds like a prison. It sounds like a restriction of your freedom. This is a critical reframing you must make. This cage is not for you, the conscious, future-oriented you who bought this audiobook. This cage is for the enemy. It is for the comfort-addicted animal within. It is a structure you build in a moment of clarity and strength to contain your weaker self. It is a system of walls, locks, and channels designed to make it impossible for your impulses to sabotage your contract. You are building this cage as an act of profound self-respect. You are protecting your future self from your present-tense impulses. You are engineering an environment where your new identity is the only one that can operate. This is the architecture of control. It is built on two and only two principles. Make your bad habits as difficult as possible. Make your good habits as easy as possible. It sounds simple, but in practice, it is the most profound change you will ever make. You are about to rig the game so that the only way you can win is by default. Let us begin with Principle 1. You must create immense, unbearable friction for your bad habits. The enemy in the mirror wins because its path is easy. The path to distraction is frictionless. The path to comfort is paved and lit. Your phone is one tap away from a dopamine hit. The television is one button away from escape. The junk food is one cupboard away from consumption. Our job is to tear up that pavement. Our job is to build a 10-foot wall in that path. We will start with your digital environment. This is the enemy's primary fortress. I will just ignore my phone is a willpower battle. You will lose. I cannot physically access my phone is an architectural solution. You will win. Tonight, you will go through every app on your phone, every social media app, every news app, every game, and you will log out. Not just close them, log out. Then you will delete them, not hide them in a folder, delete them. But what if I need them? That is the addict talking. That is the enemy bargaining. If it is truly an emergency, you can re-download it, re-enter your password, which you will not save, and use it. Look at the friction in that process. You have just turned a 1-second action into a 3-minute multi-step ordeal. In that 3 minutes, your conscious, rational mind has a chance to say, "Is this what I really want to be doing?" You have built a pause into the system. You will go into your phone's settings and turn on grayscale mode. The vibrant, candy-colored icons are designed by 1,000 engineers to trigger your brain's reward centers. A gray, colorless screen is boring. It is utilitarian. It turns your phone from a toy into a tool. You will unsubscribe from every marketing email, every deal of the day, every newsletter that is not critical to your immediate mission. Your inbox is not your to-do list. It is a place where other people send their priorities. Stop letting them in. Finally, and most importantly, you will buy a simple physical lockbox. An hour before you go to bed, your phone goes into that box. You will lock it. You will put the key in another room. This is non-negotiable. This is the cage. You have now made it physically impossible for your weaker self to scroll in bed. You have defeated the impulse, not with willpower, but with a $5 piece of hardware. Now, let's move to your physical environment. The enemy thrives on convenience. We will make its pleasures inconvenient. That junk food in your pantry, the ice cream in the freezer, the just-in-case snacks, you will not try to avoid them. You will eliminate them. You will take a garbage bag and you will throw them all out. Not donate them, not hide them. You will destroy them. This is an act of war against your old self. The act of wasting money will be painful, and that pain will reinforce the decision. You have now made it impossible to fail at 3 p.m. because the option no longer exists. To get a hit, the enemy would have to make you get in your car, drive to the store, and buy it. That is massive friction. That video game console, that television in your bedroom, you will unplug them. You will box them up. You will put them in a closet, in the attic, in the basement. You will bury them under other things. You are not banning them forever. You are simply making the activation energy required to use them so absurdly high that the impulse will die long before you can get the system working. You must be ruthless. You are the architect. If a door leads to a place you must not go, you do not try not to use it. You brick it up. You remove the handle. You seal it from the frame. That is principle 1. You have now built the walls of your cage. The enemy is trapped. Its movements are restricted. Now, principle 2. You must remove all friction for your good habits. This is the other side of the equation. You must make the right action the path of least resistance. You must make it easier to succeed than it is to fail. We are building the slip and slide to success. Your environment must become a set of triggers, of cues that automatically launch your desired behaviors. This is how you put your new habits on autopilot. You want to work out at 6 a.m.? You will not try to, you will make it automatic. The night before, you will lay out your gym clothes, your shoes, your socks, your water bottle, your headphones. They will be the first thing you see. You will place your alarm clock, which is not your phone, across the room, so you are physically forced to get out of bed to turn it off. Where will it be? Right next to your gym clothes. You have now engineered a chain reaction. Get up, turn off alarm, see clothes, put on clothes. You have removed every single point of friction, every decision point that your weaker self could have used to stop you. You want to read more? You will put the book you want to read on your pillow. You will have to physically move the book in order to get into bed. You have created a physical encounter. You want to read at lunch? The book goes in your lunch bag. You want to drink water first thing in the morning? The full glass of water goes on your nightstand before you go to sleep. It will be there, waiting for you, before your eyes are even fully open. It is now easier to drink it than it is to ignore it. You want to write, or code, or work on your business? You will prepare the battlefield. The night before, you will close every single non-essential program on your computer. You will open the one document, the one piece of software you need. You will leave it open. When you sit down at your desk, the blank page is already there. You have eliminated the startup friction. You have bypassed the temptation to just check email first. The path to work is now the most direct, open, and frictionless path available. This is the cage. This is the architecture. It is a system that removes choice, and in doing so, it preserves your willpower. You are no longer spending your precious energy debating whether to work out. You are just working out. You are no longer fighting the urge to check your phone. You are simply not checking it. This is what forcing yourself to be disciplined truly means. It is not about a moment-to-moment white-knuckled struggle. That is an amateur's game, and it leads to burnout. The force is the initial energy required to be a ruthless architect of your own environment. It is the force to throw out the food. It is the force to delete the apps. It is the force to set up your clothes the night before. You are spending a burst of willpower, in a moment of strength, to build a system that makes willpower unnecessary in your moments of weakness. The cage is not your enemy. The cage is your ally. It is the physical manifestation of your vow. It is the fortress you build to protect your highest self. Stop trying to win a fair fight with your own biology. Your biology has been evolving for millions of years to seek comfort and conserve energy. You will not defeat it with a motivational quote. You will defeat it by changing the rules of the game. You will defeat it by changing the arena. The takeaway from this chapter is an assignment. You are no longer a fighter. You are an architect. Your new job is to go on a search and destroy mission for friction. Find every single point of friction that stands between you and your good habits and eliminate it. Find every single point of convenience that enables your bad habits and destroy it. Be brutal. Be strategic. Be an engineer. Stop relying on your will. Start relying on your walls. Build your cage and it will set you free. Chapter 5. Engineering Inevitability. The cage is built. Your phone is in its box. The digital distractions are deleted. The physical triggers for your old life are gone. You wake up in this new, clean environment, this architecture of control you built in a moment of strength. And you are paralyzed. You are standing in the middle of a pristine, frictionless room, but you have no idea which direction to walk. Work on my business is not an action. It is an area. Get in shape is not a command. It is a concept. The enemy, even while contained in its cage, loves ambiguity. It thrives on it. It will sit quietly in the corner of your mind and watch you, overwhelmed by the vastness of your new freedom. It will watch you pace. It will watch you make a plan, then remake the plan. It will watch you spend 3 hours researching the best way to start, all while doing nothing. Why? Because a goal without a process is just a wish. An environment without a system is just a decorated prison. Chapter 4 was about building the architecture. This chapter is about engineering. An architect designs a space. An engineer builds a machine that does something in that space. We are going to build a machine for execution. A machine does not decide. A machine does not get motivated. A machine does not wonder what to do next. A machine receives a trigger and it executes a line of code. It is inevitable. This is how you move from forcing yourself every day to becoming an automatic force. We will engineer a system so clear, so simple, and so rigid that it completely bypasses the need for your conscious, willpower-draining, moment-to-moment decision-making. Your new life will not be left to chance. It will be programmed. This machine has 3 primary components: the rule of 1, action triggers, and the power of 0. Forget your long, complex to-do lists. Forget productivity hacks. Forget multitasking. You are building a simple, brutalist engine of output. Let us begin with the first component, the rule of 1. The enemy in the mirror, your weaker self, adores your 10-item to-do list. It sees it and it begins to bargain. Let's do the easy ones first. Let's check email. Let's clear the decks. We can do that one big hard thing later. And later becomes tomorrow. You know this game. You have lost it 1,000 times. You think you are being productive. You check off 5 small, meaningless tasks. You feel a tiny, false sense of accomplishment. But the one task that actually matters, the one task that would move your life forward, remains untouched. The enemy has won. It has successfully tricked you into being busy instead of effective. It has traded your future for a few cheap hits of dopamine. No more. From this day forward, you will live by the rule of 1. Before you go to bed, you will define your one most important thing for the following day. Not 2 things, not 5, 1. This is not the only thing you will do. It is simply the first and most important thing you will do. It is the task that, if you complete it, will allow you to go to bed that night knowing you have won the day. You have honored your contract. How do you identify this one thing? It is almost always the task you are dreading. It is the task with the most friction. It is the blank page. It is the cold call. It is the complex problem. It is the workout. It is the task that your weaker self will try to push, to hide, to bury under a mountain of trivial busy work. This one thing is your new definition of a successful day. The day is now a binary equation. Did you do the one thing? yes or no. This rule is a weapon. It is a blade of pure clarity that cuts through the fog of overwhelm. When you wake up, your mission is not a vague cloud. It is a single, hard target. All the ambiguity that the enemy relies on to paralyze you is gone. Your program is simple. Execute the one thing. The enemy in the mirror cannot fight this. It cannot bargain. When it whispers, "But we have so much to do," you will calmly reply, "We have one thing to do." When it says, "Let's just check email first," you will reply, "That is not the one thing." You have taken away its leverage. You have replaced a complex, negotiable battlefield with a single, non-negotiable directive. This is the first gear of your new machine. But a gear needs a trigger to start it. This is the second component, action triggers. You have your one thing. You know what to do. But when do you do it? If you leave it to chance, the enemy will win. If you wait until you have time, you will never have time. If you wait until you feel ready, you will never be ready. We must remove timing from the decision-making process. We will do this by chaining your new high-friction habit to an old low-friction habit that you already do automatically. This is the code for your machine. The format is simple. After I, existing automatic habit, I will your one thing. Not if, not when, after. Let us make this practical. Your one thing is to write for 30 minutes on your book. You are not going to try to fit it in, you are going to engineer it. The trigger, after I pour my first cup of coffee, I will immediately sit at my desk and write for 30 minutes. The chain is now set. You pour the coffee. The sound of the coffee hitting the cup is your starting pistol. You do not check your phone. You do not read the news. You do not pass go. You go directly to the chair. The machine is running. More examples of this code. After I take off my work shoes, I will immediately put on my gym clothes. The old habit is taking off your shoes. The new habit is now chained to it. You have bypassed the sofa, you have bypassed the debate. After I brush my teeth at night, I will immediately get into bed and read 10 pages. After my lunch alarm goes off, I will immediately close my email and go for a 15-minute walk. Look at the power of this system. The debate is over. The internal negotiation is gone. When should I do it is a question you never have to ask again. The answer is after the trigger. The enemy's favorite words, later, soon, in a minute, have been rendered meaningless. There is no later. There is only after. You have automated your own discipline. You have taken your flawed, distractible, emotional self out of the driver's seat and replaced it with a simple, infallible program. If X, then Y. This is engineering. You are no longer willing yourself to do the work, you are simply executing a script. The work has become inevitable. But what happens when the machine breaks? What happens when you are sick? When you are traveling? When a genuine crisis blows up your entire day? The enemy waits for this. It prays for this. Because if you break the chain once, it has its in. It will whisper, "See, you failed. The streak is broken. It was all for nothing. You might as well quit. You can't do this. Let's just eat that pint of ice cream and start over on Monday." This is the all-or-nothing trap. It is the most devastating weapon the enemy has. We must disarm it. This is the third and most critical component of the machine, the power of zero. Your new system must be resilient. It must be able to absorb the chaos of the real world without shattering. To do this, you must have 2 levels of victory. Level 1 victory. You execute your one thing. This is the goal. E.g., go to the gym for 45 minutes. Level 2 victory. You execute the bare minimum. This is the safety net. E.g., do 1 push-up. On your worst day, you have the flu, you are on a 12-hour flight, your life is in chaos, you do not have permission to do nothing. You have permission to scale back, but you do not have permission to post a 0. The rule of zero is this: you will not allow a single 0 day to pass. If your one thing is to write 1,000 words, your rule of zero is to write one sentence. If your one thing is to meditate for 20 minutes, your rule of zero is to meditate for one breath. If your one thing is a full workout, your rule of zero is to put on your shoes and do 10 jumping jacks. This sounds laughably small. It sounds pointless. You might think, what's the point of one push-up? It does nothing for my fitness. You are correct. It does nothing for your fitness. But it does everything for your identity. The goal of the rule of zero is not physical progress. The goal is psychological integrity. The goal is to send an unmistakable, non-negotiable message to the enemy in your mirror. Even on my worst day, I show up. Even when I am broken, I honor the contract. There is no all or nothing. There is only always. The streak is unbroken. This single act of defiance, this tiny, seemingly insignificant action, is everything. It robs the enemy of its "you failed" argument. You didn't fail, you just scaled. You are still the person who does the thing. The identity is preserved. The momentum is intact. And Monday, that magical fantasy land where the enemy loves to reset, is banished forever. There are no Mondays. There is no starting over. There is only forward. This is the engineered system. The rule of one. You defeat overwhelm with a single, clear, binary target. Action triggers. You defeat procrastination by linking your new habit to an old one, making the start time automatic. The power of zero. You defeat failure by creating a too small to fail safety net that preserves your momentum and your identity. This is how inevitability is built. You are no longer a person who hopes to be disciplined. You are a person who has programmed it. The architecture of your cage, Chapter 4, removed the wrong options. The engineering of your machine, Chapter 5, automated the right ones. You have created a system where doing the work is simply the logical, automatic, and easiest path. You have created a slip and slide that leads directly to your goal. The friction of starting is gone. The anxiety of choice is gone. The all-or-nothing trap is gone. The takeaway from this chapter is to stop thinking and start programming. Stop being the operator of your life, the one who has to show up every day and try. Become the engineer. Your job is to build the machine. Once it is built, your only job is to do what the machine says. Stop deciding, stop debating, stop negotiating. Just run the program. Chapter 6, The Anatomy of Identity. You have done the work. The cage is built. The machine is engineered. Your phone is locked away. Your one thing is clear. Your triggers are set. You have, through sheer architectural force, made yourself get up at 6 a.m. You have made yourself sit in the chair. You have made yourself complete the work. And you feel like a fraud. It feels wrong. It feels unnatural. It feels like you are wearing a costume, playing the part of a disciplined person, but you are just an actor. And you are waiting, terrified, for the director to call cut, for the real, lazy you to be exposed. This is the most dangerous part of the entire process. This is the moment of cognitive dissonance. Your actions, what you are doing, are now in direct, violent conflict with your identity, who you believe you are. You have spent a lifetime gathering evidence for your old self. You have a mountain of data that proves you are not a morning person, that you procrastinate, that you lack follow-through. You have told yourself this story for so long that you believe it is the truth. And now your new actions are creating a single, confusing, contradictory piece of data. The belief says, I am not a morning person. The action says, but I am awake. It is 6:01 a.m. Your brain hates this. It is a paradox, a contradiction in terms, and the mind will do anything to resolve this tension. It has only two choices. It can reject the action. It can sabotage the system. This is the voice of the enemy in the mirror, and it will scream. This is a fluke. This isn't the real you. You're just forcing it. You're going to burn out. This is fake. You'll be back in your old bed by next week. Just quit now and be yourself. It can change the belief. It can look at the evidence and be forced to ask, what if? What if I was wrong? What if me isn't who I thought it was? This is the war inside the war. The systems we built in the last 2 chapters are the external scaffolding. They are designed to hold you in place, to force the new action, to win this battle of cognitive dissonance. They are there to protect your new, fragile actions from your old, powerful identity. You cannot force yourself to act against your own self-perception forever. The willpower, the systems, the cage, it will all eventually break. It is exhausting to live as a fraud. The ultimate force, the only one that creates permanent, effortless discipline, is identity. A disciplined person does not force themselves to do difficult things. They simply are the person who does them. It is a normal, non-negotiable part of who they are. They do not try to get up early. They are an early riser. The action is a simple, automatic expression of their identity. The cage you built is temporary. The machine is a tool. This chapter is about forging the permanent structure. We are not just doing discipline, we are becoming disciplined. This is the anatomy of how that identity is built. First, you must understand what an identity truly is. It is not a fixed biological fact. It is not a soul you were born with. Your identity is a story you tell yourself. It is a collection of beliefs. And those beliefs are built on one thing, and one thing only: evidence. You believe you are a person who likes coffee because you have 1,000 data points, 1,000 memories of yourself enjoying coffee. You believe you are bad at math because you have a collection of memories of failing tests or feeling confused. Your entire personality is just a backward-looking summary of your most consistent actions. You are not lazy. You are a person who has consistently chosen the action of comfort. You are not undisciplined. You are a person who has consistently voted for your weaker self. This is the key. Your identity is built on votes. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to be. When you hit the snooze button, you are casting a vote for "I am a person who breaks my promises." When you scroll on your phone instead of working, you are casting a vote for "I am a person who values distraction over my dreams." The systems we built in chapters 4 and 5 are a form of ballot rigging. They are designed to force your hand. They are designed to make you, even against your will, cast the first few votes for your new identity. When you get up at 6 a.m., even though you hate it, you have just cast a vote for "I am a morning person." When you do your one thing, even though it's hard, you have just cast a vote for "I am a person who executes." When you do your power of zero safety net, your one push-up, your one sentence, you have cast a vote for "I am a person who never breaks the streak." One vote does not win an election. One action does not change your identity. You will not feel like a disciplined person after 1 day, or 3, or even 10. The mountain of evidence for your old self is still massive. The enemy is still in power. But this is a war of attrition. You cast a vote, and another, and another. You accumulate proof. You are building a new body of evidence. You are generating small, undeniable facts. Fact: you got up at 6 a.m. today. Fact: you got up at 6 a.m. yesterday. Fact: you have now gotten up at 6 a.m. 15 days in a row. Now, the battle of cognitive dissonance shifts. The enemy, who at first laughed at your fluke, is now sweating. The old belief, "I am not a morning person," is now being crushed under the weight of a new, undeniable pile of evidence. The brain must adapt. It says, "It is no longer logical to believe I am not a morning person. The evidence proves otherwise. The story must change." And just like that, the new identity is born. The belief changes. I am a morning person. And the most magical part? The moment that belief clicks into place, the force is no longer required. The cage becomes obsolete. You no longer need the alarm clock across the room. You no longer need the struggle. You just get up, because that is who you are. The struggle vanishes. The action, getting up, is now in perfect harmony with your identity. I am an early riser. This is the state of mastery. So, how do we accelerate this process? Accumulating votes is the action, but we can speed up the belief by changing our language. You must control your internal narrator. The enemy in the mirror has a loud, clear voice. It is the voice that says, "Ugh, I have to go to the gym. This sucks." That phrase, "I have to," is poison. It reinforces the identity of a victim. It implies an external, unwanted force. It is the language of a prisoner. You must change the script. You do not have to. You get to. You get to build your body. You get to forge your mind. It is a privilege. Better yet, change the script from one of obligation to one of identity. Not, "I have to go to the gym," but "it is time to train." This is the language of a professional. It is impersonal. It is a fact. It is what is done. Stop using the language of trying, which we banished in Chapter 3. Do not say, "I am trying to eat healthy." This is the language of an amateur. It implies failure is an option. Say, "I am a healthy person." And when someone offers you junk food, your answer is not, "I can't." Your answer is, "I don't." "I can't" is the language of restriction. "I don't" is the language of identity. It is not a struggle. It is a fact. It is simply not something you do. This is how you act as if. You are not faking it. You are rehearsing. You are embodying the identity you intend to build. You must speak like this new person. You must think like this new person. You must make decisions as this new person. When faced with a choice, you will no longer ask, "What do I feel like doing?" That is the language of Chapter 1. You will ask one simple question. What would the person I want to be do in this situation? And you will do that. This is how you lead with the identity. The actions, the votes, will follow. This also changes the entire nature of failure. When you slip up, and you will slip up, the enemy in the mirror will pounce. It will scream, "Aha, I told you. You are a fraud. This is the real you. It was all fake." This is the ultimate test of your new identity. The old you would see a slip-up as proof that you were and always will be a failure. It would confirm the old identity, and you would spiral into quitting. The new you, the professional, sees the slip-up differently. A disciplined person is not someone who never fails. A disciplined person is someone who recovers faster. The slip-up is not proof of your old identity. It is a data point. It is a test of your new one. Your new identity is not, "I am perfect." Your new identity is, "I am resilient." Your new identity is, "I am the person who gets back up." The enemy wants you to focus on the fact that you fell. Your new identity only focuses on the speed of your recovery. The power of zero from Chapter 5 was the system for this, but this is the identity behind it. I never miss twice. This becomes your new code. You stumbled. So what? The very next action is a vote for your new identity. You get back on the path immediately. The takeaway from this chapter is simple. The systems you built are the scaffolding. The daily actions you take are the bricks. Your internal language is the mortar. You are not doing discipline. You are building a disciplined person. The cage and the machine are just tools. They are the scaffolding, designed to hold the bricks in place while the mortar dries. They are there to force you to accumulate the evidence you need to convince yourself of your new truth. Soon, that structure will be finished. The identity will be forged, and the scaffolding can come down. The force will no longer be required, because you will not be the person pushing the boulder. You will be the boulder, rolling with its own unstoppable momentum. You are not forcing a habit. You are forging an identity. Chapter 7. The Currency of Discomfort. The cage is built. The machine is running. The new identity is taking root. You are casting the votes. You are accumulating the evidence. And it is miserable, let's be honest. This is the part that no one talks about. They show you the after picture. They show you the sunrise from the mountaintop. They do not show you the 3 a.m. ascent in the freezing dark. They do not show you the blisters, the burning lungs, or the moments of absolute bone-deep doubt. Your systems have forced you into the arena, but they cannot stop the pain of the battle. You are doing the work, but every second of it feels like you are walking uphill into a hailstorm barefoot. The enemy in the mirror is screaming. Your biology is in a state of revolt. Every alarm bell in your body is ringing, telling you to stop. This is wrong. This hurts. Retreat to safety. Retreat to comfort. This is the wall. This is the moment most people quit. They mistake this feeling, this profound, grinding, and overwhelming discomfort, as a sign that they are doing something wrong. They believe it is a signal of failure. They think, this shouldn't be this hard. If it's this hard, it must not be for me. I'm not cut out for this. And they retreat. They go back to the warm, familiar, and soul-crushing comfort of their old life. This chapter is about the most important reframe of your entire life. It is the key that will unlock the final door to mastery. That feeling of pain, of strain, of overwhelming friction, it is not a stop sign. It is not a signal of failure. It is the price. It is the currency of all growth. Discomfort is the sensation of change itself. It is the metric that you are finally doing something right. The modern world has sold you a devastating lie. The lie is that a good life is a comfortable life. The lie is that friction is bad. The lie is that ease is the goal. This ideology has made you soft. It has made you weak. It has trained you, like a lab animal, to run from the very thing you need in order to grow. You are not avoiding the work. You are not avoiding the task. You are avoiding the feeling of the work. Let that sink in. The task itself is just a set of neutral actions. It is lifting a piece of metal. It is typing words on a screen. It is sitting in a chair and not looking at your phone. These are not, in themselves, painful. What is painful is the sensation your primitive brain generates in response to these actions. Your brain is wired for one thing: survival. And survival means conserving energy. When you perform a difficult, non-essential task, your brain interprets it as a cost. It sees it as a threat to its energy reserves. So it releases pain signals. These are not physical injuries. They are motivational signals. Fatigue, frustration, boredom, anxiety, doubt. These are not symptoms of a problem. These are tools used by the enemy in the mirror. They are weapons explicitly designed to make you stop what you are doing and return to a state of low-energy comfort. You have spent your entire life obeying these signals. You feel bored? You immediately reach for your phone. You feel tired? You immediately hit the snooze button. You feel frustrated? You immediately quit and look for a distraction. You have trained your brain over and over that the second it releases a discomfort signal, you will give it the comfort it wants. You have reinforced the behavior. You have become a slave to this feedback loop. Today, you break the loop. From this moment on, you will learn to reframe these sensations. Discomfort is not a threat. It is a toll. It is the non-negotiable price of admission to the life you want. You do not get a stronger muscle without the pain of the tear. The tearing is the process. You do not build a stronger mind without the pain of the focus. The strain is the process. You do not build a business without the pain of the risk. The fear is the process. The force we are building is not the ability to avoid this feeling. It is the ability to tolerate it. It is the skill of welcoming it. It is the choice to pay the toll with a smile. You must become a connoisseur of your own discomfort. There are two kinds of discomfort you will face. The first and most insidious is boredom. The enemy in the mirror hates boredom more than anything else. The comfort addict, the junkie we identified in Chapter 2, is an understimulation addict. It can stand pain, but it cannot stand silence. It cannot stand the void. The void is that moment you sit down to do the one thing. The room is quiet. Your phone is in its box. There are no notifications. There are no distractions. There is only you and the work. It is excruciating. Your mind itches. It begs. It screams for a hit of novelty. Just check the news. Just see what's on that one website. Just stand up and get a glass of water. This is the wall. This is the gateway to all deep, meaningful work. And 99% of people fail right here. They cannot tolerate the void. They scratch the itch. They choose the easy stimulation over the hard creation. You will learn to sit in the void. You will learn to let the itch be there, and you will not scratch it. You will observe that feeling of restless, screaming boredom, and you will calmly, impersonally say, "Noted. Now back to the work." You must understand. Boredom is not an absence of stimulation. It is the presence of an opportunity. It is the clean, empty mental space that creativity requires in order to show up. By constantly filling that void with cheap distraction, you are paving over the very soil where your best ideas are meant to grow. Embrace the void. The boredom is the price of focus. Pay it. The second kind of discomfort is effort. This is the burn. This is the strain. This is the feeling that this is too hard. This is where you must learn to separate the sensation from the judgment. The burn in your legs during a squat is just a sensation. It is a neutral feedback signal of muscular exertion. The thought, "This hurts and I must stop," is a judgment. It is a story you are telling yourself about the sensation. You will learn to stop being the victim of the story and become the scientist of the sensation. When you feel it, you will get curious. You will step outside of it. You will observe it. Ah, there is the burn. Interesting. It is located in my quadriceps. It is rising in intensity. This is the feeling of my body adapting. This is the feeling of growth. You are separating the raw data, the sensation, from the emotional, panicked interpretation, the judgment. By observing it instead of reacting to it, you reclaim your power. You are no longer a slave to the signal. You are the master of the response. This applies to all effort. The mental fog when you're trying to solve a hard problem, that is just a sensation. The judgment is, "I'm stupid, I can't figure this out." The observation is, "This is the feeling of my prefrontal cortex working at its limit. This is my mind being stretched. This is the feeling of learning." You must change the meaning of hard. Hard is not bad. Hard is not a stop sign. Hard is the point. Hard is the goal. If it were not hard, there would be no growth. If it were not hard, everyone would do it, and it would have no value. The hardness is the barrier to entry that protects the reward. The discomfort is the gatekeeper. And you will learn to nod at that gatekeeper, pay the toll, and walk right through. This choice is the only one you ever get to make. You cannot choose a life without discomfort. Such a life does not exist. You can only choose your flavor of discomfort. You can choose the active discomfort of discipline. This is an acute, productive pain. It is the pain of the workout. It is the pain of the focus. It is the pain of the doing. It is hard, but it is chosen, and it has a purpose. It ends. And on the other side of it is strength. On the other side is pride. On the other side is self-respect. Or you can choose the passive discomfort of regret. This is a chronic, corrosive pain. It is the low-grade, constant, humming anxiety of knowing you are wasting your life. It is the guilt of procrastination. It is the shame of breaking your own promises. It is the dread of looking in the mirror. It is the dull ache of a life unlived. Both are hard. Both are uncomfortable. One is the price of growth. The other is the cost of stagnation. One is the fire of the forge. The other is the slow rot of the grave. You will be uncomfortable. Your only choice is which one you pick. The takeaway from this chapter is to lean in. Stop running. Stop looking for the easy way out. There is no easy way. The only way is through. That feeling of resistance you feel, that is your new compass. That I don't want to feeling, that is your new signal to start. The thing you are dreading the most, the thing that feels the hardest, the most uncomfortable, that is your one thing. That is the first thing you must do. Run at the discomfort. It is the only currency the universe accepts for anything of value. Stop trying to get it for cheap. You can't. Pay the price. Chapter 8. The Rhythm of Resolve. At first, it was a war. Every morning, the alarm clock was a declaration of hostilities. Getting out of bed was a high-stakes, white-knuckled battle. The cage you built felt like a prison. The machine you engineered felt like a cold, impersonal set of commands. The currency of discomfort was paid in sweat, in strain, and in a constant, grinding resistance. You were forcing your new life, one painful, high-friction moment at a time. But now, something has changed. The alarm still goes off. The work is still hard. The tasks have not become objectively easier. And yet, the war is over. The screaming, panicked resistance from the enemy in the mirror has quieted. It has been demoted from a roaring tyrant to a quiet, sullen spectator. The daily battle of will I or won't I has been replaced by a simple, low-friction hum. It is the hum of automaticity. It is the feeling of default. This is the great shift. This is where you stop pushing the boulder and you start becoming the boulder. This is the rhythm of resolve. This chapter is about the transition from conscious, brutal effort to a subconscious, automated state of being. We are moving out of the realm of psychology and into the realm of physics. The highest form of discipline is not a constant heroic struggle. The highest form of discipline is a rhythm. It is a self-sustaining momentum. You have successfully achieved escape velocity. Think of the energy a rocket must burn to leave the atmosphere. It is a violent, chaotic, and almost self-destructive explosion of pure force. It is 99% of the mission's fuel burned in the first few minutes. This was you for the past several weeks. This was the force we have been cultivating. It was the brute strength needed to break the gravitational pull of your old identity, your old comforts, and your old habits. But once that rocket breaks free, the engines cut. The violence stops. There is no more fire, no more smoke, no more shaking. There is only silence. There is only a smooth, effortless, and almost imperceptible glide. It is still moving at an incredible speed, but it no longer feels like it. It is now in orbit. Its own momentum is now the force that keeps it on its path. You are now in orbit. The daily force you once applied externally, with systems, with rules, with cages, is becoming an internal, self-sustaining momentum. This is the first reward of your consistency. The struggle does not last forever. The force is a temporary tool to create the momentum. The momentum is the permanent engine that takes over. But this momentum is a fragile thing at first. It must be protected, it must be cultivated, and it is cultivated through the single most powerful tool in the arsenal of mastery, the unbroken streak. We spoke before about the power of zero, the defensive mechanism to prevent failure. The unbroken streak is the offensive mechanism. It is the tool that creates motivation. As human beings, we are driven by narrative. We are driven by story. And a streak is the most compelling story you can tell yourself. At first, you did the work for the result. You went to the gym to change your body. You did the writing to create the book. But after 10, 20, or 30 days in a row, a new motivation appears, a stronger one. You are no longer doing it just for the result. You are doing it for the streak. You have a chain, a visible, tangible representation of your consistency. Each day you do the work, you add a link. And the last thing you want to do is break that chain. This is a form of psychological jujitsu. You are gamifying your own discipline. The enemy in your mirror, the part of you that loves simple, score-based games, is now hijacked to serve your higher purpose. The enemy did not want to do the work, but the enemy despises losing a game. And so, on the day you feel tired, on the day you feel uninspired, a new voice speaks. It is not the voice of force. It is the voice of the guardian of the streak. It says, I don't care how I feel. I don't care if it's good. I am not going back to zero. I am not breaking this chain. The streak itself becomes the reason. The streak is the proof. The streak is the identity. This is how you make consistency non-negotiable. You are no longer debating the value of the work. You are simply protecting the integrity of the streak. This is an infinitely more powerful and more immediate motivator than some vague, distant future goal. And this streak, this daily execution, unlocks the second law of this new physics, the compounding effect. You have been taught to think in additive terms. You think, I did one workout, I am +1 stronger. I do another, I am +2 stronger. This is how a child counts. This is not how the universe works. Growth is not additive. Growth is multiplicative. It compounds. A single drop of water on a stone does nothing. 1,000 drops do nothing. But a single drop, every single second, for 1,000 years, that drop carves a canyon. It does not add to the stone. It fundamentally changes the landscape. Your daily, consistent action is that drop of water. When you show up 2 days in a row, you are not twice as good. You are exponentially better. Your brain is building myelin. It is making the neural pathway faster. Your identity is not adding, it is deepening. The first week, you were just doing the action. The second week, you were learning the action. The third week, you were understanding the action. The fourth week, you were automating the action. The skills you are building in one area are bleeding into others. The focus you forged in your one thing is now showing up in your conversations. The integrity you built by honoring your streak is now showing up in your relationships. The self-respect you earned by paying the price of discomfort is now radiating from you in your career. It is not 1 + 1 + 1. It is 1 times 1, 1 times 1, 2 times 1, 4. This is why dabbling is the enemy of all mastery. The person who tries 5 different things for a week each will never experience this. They are always in the high-friction, low-reward additive phase. They are always on the launch pad, burning fuel, but never reaching orbit. Your consistency has broken you through that barrier. You are now in the compounding phase. This is where the magic happens. This is where the rewards finally start to accelerate past the effort. The glide has begun. This brings us to the core of the rhythm, the work itself, the one thing, the task. It has not gotten easier. The task is the same. The weights still weigh what they weigh. The blank page is still blank. The problems are still complex. So why does it feel less like a war? Because the task did not get easier. You got stronger. This is the great inversion. In the beginning, you were a small person trying to move a large object. All of your energy was consumed by the act of pushing. Now you are a large person. You have grown. The object has not changed, but your relationship to it has. The force you once had to apply to the object is now simply a part of your baseline state. You are no longer forcing yourself to get up at 6 a.m. You are now a 6 a.m. person who is simply awake. You are no longer forcing yourself to go to the gym. You are now an athlete who is simply training. You are no longer forcing yourself to write. You are now a writer who is simply working. The struggle has not vanished. It has been absorbed. It has been integrated. The external battle has become your internal strength. This is the rhythm of resolve. It is not a chaotic, desperate, moment-to-moment fight. It is a pulse. It is a heartbeat. It is the new, steady, low-frequency hum of your entire life. It is the default setting. It is the new normal. The days of motivation are long gone. You do not need it. The days of willpower are over. You have systems for that. The days of force are ending. You now have momentum. The takeaway from this chapter is to trust this new rhythm. Your job is no longer to ignite the fire every single day. That was the old job. Your new job is to simply protect it, to protect the streak, to feed the momentum, to show up not with a roar of effort, but with the quiet, calm, professional consistency of a master. The war is over. The force you applied has done its job. It has created a new state of being. Your only job now is to ride the wave. Chapter 9. Beyond the battlefield. What was it all for? You won the first battle. You conquered the first hill. You are now the person who gets up at 6 a.m. You are the person who trains. You are the person who writes. You have successfully, through force and systems, built a single, towering monument to your new will. And you are standing on top of it, looking out at the rest of your life. And it is still in chaos. You have mastered your body, but your finances are a disaster. You are a slave to debt, to impulsive spending, to a paycheck-to-paycheck anxiety that hollows you out. You have mastered your work, but your relationships are reactive and shallow. You are quick to anger, slow to listen, and your connections with others are based on habit, not intention. You have mastered your one thing, but your mind is a cluttered, noisy, and untamed attic, filled with stray anxieties, looping negative thoughts, and a constant, low-grade hum of distraction. This is the new cognitive dissonance, the disciplined hypocrite. You have built one perfect, clean room, but you are living in a burning house. You have proven you can win a battle, but you are still losing the war. The enemy you identified in Chapter 2, the comfort addict, the path of least resistance, you did not destroy it. You simply cornered it. You kicked it out of one area of your life, and it has taken up heavier, more entrenched positions in every other area. It is laughing at you. Fine, it says. You can have the gym. I will keep your bank account. I will keep your peace of mind. This is the point of stagnation. This is where most disciplined people stop. They are content to be the fit person, and they define their entire identity by that one single victory. They become a one-note song. But you are not here to win a battle. You are here to win the war. You are not here to build a fortress that is constantly under siege from the rest of your life. You are here to build an empire. This chapter is about expansion. That first battlefield, the gym, the work, the alarm clock, it was never the goal. It was the forge. It was the foundry. It was the high-friction, high-heat laboratory, where you were not building a habit. You were building a weapon. Now you are going to learn how to use it. The weapon you forged is not fitness. It is not writing. The weapon is the process itself. It is the algorithm of change. It is a set of transferable principles, a master key that does not care what door it is opening. It only knows how to open locks. Let us define this weapon. It has 5 core components, which you have spent the last 8 chapters mastering. The vow, the ability to make a singular, binary, non-negotiable decision. The architecture, the skill of ruthlessly designing an environment that makes success unavoidable. The system, the engineering of automatic, trigger-based processes that bypass willpower. The identity, the forging of a new self-concept built from the evidence of small, consistent votes. The tolerance, the mastery of discomfort, the reframing of friction as the currency of growth. This 5-part algorithm is your sword and shield. It is the blueprint for conquest. And you are now going to take this blueprint from your first simple battlefield and apply it to the complex, chaotic, and vital territories of your entire life. Let's start with a common battlefield, your finances. Right now, your financial life is governed by feeling. You feel like buying something, so you do. You feel anxious, so you avoid looking at your bank account. You feel overwhelmed by debt, so you retreat to the comfort of tomorrow. You are right back in Chapter 1, a complete slave to your emotions. It is time to apply the algorithm. Step 1. The vow. The vague hope of "I want to be better with money" is not a vow, it is a wish. The decision sounds like this: I am the master of my money. I am an owner, not a consumer. Every dollar I have is a soldier in my army, and I will give it its marching orders. My money works for me. This is a binary, non-negotiable identity. Step 2. The architecture. You must build a cage for your impulsive spending. You must create friction. You will log out of every single online store. You will delete your saved credit card information from your browser, from your phone, from every app. You will unsubscribe from every sale email that triggers your desire. You will cut up the credit cards you do not need. You will make it physically difficult to be impulsive. This is the financial equivalent of throwing the junk food in the trash. It is ruthless, it is necessary. Step 3. The system. You will engineer inevitability. You will set up automatic transfers. This is the action trigger for your wealth. The code is: after my paycheck arrives, immediately X amount goes to my savings. Immediately Y amount goes to my investments. Immediately Z amount goes to my debt. You will do this before you can spend it. You are automating your discipline. The one thing you must do is pay yourself first. The machine does the rest. You have removed your emotional, weak, impulsive self from the entire equation. Step 4 and 5. The identity and the tolerance. The discomfort here is the boredom of saving. It is the pain of deprivation. It is the itch to buy the new thing. You must reframe this. This is not deprivation. This is building. This is freedom. The cheap thrill of the purchase is slavery. The quiet, boring act of watching your savings grow is liberation. You are casting a vote for "I am a builder" instead of "I am a consumer." You will love the feeling of not spending because it is the feeling of winning. This is the algorithm applied. You have taken the exact same principles that got you out of bed and used them to conquer your finances. It is the same weapon on a new battlefield. Now let's take it to the most critical territory of all, your mind. This is the final frontier. You can have a strong body and a full bank account, but if your mind is a chaotic, reactive, and anxious place, you are still a prisoner. Your inner world is the last and most important kingdom to conquer. The enemy here is not laziness. It is reactivity. It is the impulse to check your phone. It is the emotional spark of anger. It is the stray anxiety that spirals into a narrative of doom. It is the inability to be alone with your own thoughts. We will apply the algorithm. Step 1. The vow. I am the sovereign of my own mind. I am the gatekeeper of my attention. I am not a passive receptacle for the world's noise. I am an active, intentional, and focused thinker. My mind is a tool, and I am its master. Step 2. The architecture. You must build an environment for your mind. You have already built the external architecture, the phone in the box, the clean workspace. Now you must build the internal architecture. This is silence. This is stillness. You must schedule empty space into your day. You will time block 10 minutes of doing nothing. No phone, no book, no music. Just you and your thoughts. This is the void from Chapter 7, and you will learn to sit in it. This is meditation. This is the practice of observing your thoughts without being them. You are building the walls of your own mental cage, one that keeps out the noise and allows for clarity. Step 3. The system. You will engineer an action trigger for your emotions. The old system was stimulus, instant reaction. The new system is stimulus, pause, response. The trigger is the feeling itself. The new code. After I feel the spark of anger, I will immediately take one slow, controlled breath before I speak. After I feel the itch of anxiety, I will immediately label the feeling. This is anxiety, before I follow its narrative. This tiny, engineered pause is everything. It is the space between the stimulus and the response, and in that space, your discipline lives. You have created a system for emotional control. Step 4 and 5, the identity and the tolerance. The discomfort here is immense. It is the discomfort of not reacting. It is the friction of letting someone be wrong. It is the pain of sitting with an unresolved emotion instead of distracting yourself from it. It burns. You must reframe this. Reactivity is weakness. Calm is strength. The person who must have the last word is a slave. The person who can choose to be silent is the master. You are casting a vote for, I am a calm, centered, and strategic person. You are not an angry person. You are a person who observes anger and chooses a better response. This is the expansion. This is the transfer. The force you used to build one habit was just your basic training. You have now graduated. You are no longer a foot soldier, fighting a desperate battle on one tiny hill. You are a general. You are a strategist. You are a designer of new campaigns. A truly disciplined life is not one of rigid, joyless restriction. That is an amateur's misunderstanding. A truly disciplined life is a life of options. It is a life of power. It is a life of freedom. You are no longer a piece of driftwood, pushed around by the currents of your feelings, your impulses, and the world's demands. You are a vessel. You have a rudder, your will. You have a map, your system. You have a strong hull, your identity. And you can now point your ship wherever you choose. And you can sail against the wind. The takeaway from this chapter is a new commission. Your first victory was not the end of the war. It was the blueprint for winning it. Look at your life. Find the territories still occupied by the enemy. Find the chaos, the reactivity, the comfort addiction. Now take your weapon, take your algorithm, and expand your control. Chapter 10, The Unconquered Will. We have come to the end of the program, but we have come to the beginning of your life. Let's go back for one last time to the person who pressed play on this audiobook. That person was you, but they are not you now. That person was a slave, and they didn't even know who their master was. They were a slave to their feelings, a slave to their impulses, a slave to the primitive, comfort-addicted animal in their mirror. They were living in a state of profound self-betrayal, haunted by the quiet, constant dread that they were wasting their potential. They were a person who hoped, who tried, who planned, and they were, in a word, weak. Look at yourself now. Look at what you have built. You have faced the great betrayal and declared your independence. You have stared the enemy in the mirror in the eye and called it by its name. You have made the irreversible decision. You have burned the ships. You have become the ruthless architect of a cage that contains your weaker self. You have engineered a machine of inevitability, a system of triggers and rules that makes success your new default. You have forged a new identity, casting vote after vote, day after day, accumulating the hard evidence of your own transformation. You have learned to pay the price, to walk into the discomfort, to embrace the friction as the currency of your own growth. You have transcended the daily battle and found the rhythm of resolve, the self-sustaining momentum of an unbroken streak. And you have taken the weapon you forged in that first battle and begun the conquest of your entire life. The person who did these things is not the same person who began this journey. The old you is a ghost. It is a story. It is a memory of a life you no longer lead. The title of this audiobook was a promise: how to force yourself to be disciplined. We began with that word, force. It was a word of conflict, of violence, of a high-friction, brutal, day-to-day struggle. It was the energy of the rocket, burning all its fuel just to escape the atmosphere. But as you stand here today, in the quiet orbit of your new life, you must realize the truth. The force has not disappeared. It has simply changed. The force is no longer a verb. It is no longer an action you must apply. The force has become a noun. It has become you. You are no longer the person pushing the boulder. You are the boulder, rolling with a momentum that is now so deep, so ingrained that it has become your new nature. You are no longer the person fighting the storm. You are the storm. This is the final state. This is the unconquered will. What is this unconquered will? It is not a feeling of constant high-voltage motivation. That is a child's fantasy. It is not a life free from problems. That does not exist. It is not a superhuman state where you are a perfect, unfeeling robot. The unconquered will is a state of peace. It is the profound, internal, and unshakable silence that comes when the internal civil war is finally over. The quiet dread that haunted you, it is gone. The anxiety of will I or won't I, it is gone. The shame of the broken promise, the guilt of the wasted day, they are gone. And what has replaced them? Not arrogance, not pride. What has replaced them is the single most valuable and most earned possession a human being can ever own: self-respect. It is the deep, quiet, cellular knowing that you are a person who honors your word. It is the trust you have built with yourself by showing up day after day. It is the undeniable proof of your own integrity. This self-respect is the source of your new power. It is the fuel for your momentum, and it is the shield that makes your will unconquered. Your will is unconquered not because you will never be tempted. The enemy in the mirror never truly dies. It is biology. It will always be there, whispering for comfort, whispering for just this once. Your will is unconquered because you are no longer fooled by it. You are no longer seduced by it. You are no longer governed by it. When that voice whispers, you see it, you acknowledge it, you nod at it as you would an old, pathetic enemy who no longer has any power. And you calmly, quietly do the work anyway. It is unconquered not because you will never fail. You will fail. You are human. You will stumble. You will have a bad day. It is unconquered because a failure no longer defines your identity. It is just a data point. It is a gust of wind, and you are no longer a leaf. You are a mountain. Your new identity is not "I am perfect." Your new identity is "I am resilient." Your new identity is "I always get back up." Your will is unconquered because you have finally, fully, and permanently reclaimed your sovereignty. You are the king we spoke of in Chapter 3. You are on your throne. The usurper, your impulses, your feelings, has been deposed. It may shout from the dungeon, but it no longer makes the laws. You make the laws. Your vow is your law. Your systems are your law. Your identity is your law. This is the ultimate freedom. It is not the freedom from that your weaker self craved. It is not freedom from responsibility, freedom from effort, freedom from pain. That is the freedom of a prisoner. This is the freedom to. You are now, perhaps for the first time in your life, truly free. You are free to choose your suffering. You are free to pursue a goal that is worthy of you. You are free to build a life, not from the raw materials of your fleeting moods, but from the blueprints of your deepest, most profound intentions. You are no longer a victim of your life script. You are no longer a reactor to the day's events. You are the author. You are the architect. This is a new and terrifying responsibility, because now there are no excuses. You cannot blame your feelings. You are their master. You cannot blame your environment. You are its architect. You cannot blame your habits. You are their engineer. You cannot blame your identity. You are its forger. You are now fully and completely responsible for the life you build. The force that you use to cultivate discipline is now the force you will use to shape the world. What will you build? What will you create? What higher purpose will you serve, now that you are no longer trapped in the petty daily battle against your own weakness? That is the new question. That is the only question. This audiobook is over. The training is complete. The scaffolding is down. The rocket fuel is spent. What is left is you, the strong, centered, real you. The you who has proven through action that you are no longer a slave. The you who has earned your own respect. The person who began this journey is gone. The person who sits here now is the force they were always meant to be. We began with a truth. You are wasting your life, and you know it. We end with a new one. You are building your life, and you know it. You are in control, and you know it. You are and will always be the master of your own will. The will is unconquered. The work begins.